The releasing of the Epstein files and the generally politically uninvolved people in America being shocked and still doing nothing is very indicative of the fact that, I want to say for about eons now, the concept of hierarchy and centralizing any sort of power has led people to believe that they, even as a collective, can really do nothing against people who have money, power, fame, status. It's a little insulting. When I read about like the elites having like sacrifice rituals and hunting people for sport, I'm not surprised, because again, a lot of these things that these rich people are doing, it started out by happening to slaves, to black people. People in the plantation were regularly eaten, turned into purses, hunted for sport. And for the most part, white America did nothing, or even if they knew, they kind of glossed over the fact because they wanted to keep up some sort of twisted ideal, aka like their white comfortability. You know, acknowledging that people eat people, especially people who are richer than you and are telling you that you have to work your whole fucking life until you die to make them richer. That is more of a upsetting thing for your reality than, you know, just kind of parsing the fact away that, you know, black people and other people of color have been routinely snatched by rich people for generations and hunted for sport, eaten, killed, tortured, raped. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't really, like, you know, shake up your reality as much because it's not happening to you. But what I'm starting to notice here is how important intersectionality is, because a lot of these people are uninformed about that sort of history. And a lot of these people are generally ignorant of how a lot of their rituals that they're reading and that's fucked up in the Epstein files come from antebellum chattel slavery era, you know, exploitation and behavior. And I think that needs to be realized. When you realize that conquistadors used to do the same thing to the natives that they would capture, other than, you know, just basically torture them and flay them and starve them, the easier your life gets. Every person of color who has ever interacted with someone who is of a white imperialistic country, Spain, Portugal, Britain, you know what I'm saying? Anyone who's interacted with them and been colonized by them will tell you firsthand that it's not fucking new news. None of this is new. None of this is damning to us because we've been experiencing this for bare minimum hundreds of years. Now, in a perfect world, the dropping of those files in just the first few pages alone would be enough to uproot people's sense of security and make them probably want to do something, especially because conservatives, who are the loudest fucking people in the room, are once again silent on the fact that the elites that they have let into their party and let them fuck over the world are also the rich pedophiles that they were rallying against. But they won't do anything about it. There's no incentive for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to believe at this point that on some level there will always be white opposition because of how deeply ingrained white patriarchy and systemic racism is embedded around the world to somehow, I don't know, put these white people on a pedestal that even if they're incompetent and stupid, they're dangerous enough that we shouldn't fuck with them. When that's the opposite, you know, we outnumber these dumbasses. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard to fucking say. And it shouldn't even be that hard to convince another working class white fellow that it's easier for us to topple these rich fucks and sort out the materials that they hoarded over the last few centuries than it is to keep going under the system we're in. But, you know, that's just a topic for another day, I suppose. Hope you guys are having a good day.